Hi, I'm Amelia, and this week I'm going to share with you my plans for sewing in 2023. Hi, I'm Amelia and welcome to my channel. I love to sew and I love to share fabric, patterns and lots of crafting ideas with you here on this channel. So if that sounds like something you'd like to watch, then please do stay tuned. So this week I thought I'd catch you up briefly, and quite briefly, on my Make 9 from 2022. Now I'll pop a card up here because I did make a full video about my progress on my Make 9 earlier this year. And to be quite honest with you, I haven't got a lot further than when I filmed that video. So do go and give that a watch if you want to find out more detail about these patterns and how I got on with sewing the ones that I did finish. The Make 9 is a sewing challenge over on Instagram. There are no prizes. It's very much up to the individual how they want to do their Make 9, but I just find it a nice way of thinking about and planning some garments that I'd like to get made each year. So for 2022, I chose the following 9 patterns. So number 1 is the Nova Coat by Papercut Patterns. I did finish this one and I absolutely love wearing it, so that's a win. Number 2 was the Hug Hoodie and the Slow Pants. I wanted to make a loungewear set. Now sadly these patterns are now unavailable, but I do absolutely love my Hug Hoodie and my Slow Pants. And in the cold weather that we've been having recently, I have been wearing them a lot. Now, the third pattern was the Black Beauty Bra by Emerald Erin. I really wanted to give bra making a go last year, but I did try a toile of this pattern and it just didn't work fit-wise for me. So in the end, I made a toile of another pattern, which was the Watson Bra by Cloth Habit. Now, I do have the toile of that here. It was just made in some lingerie scraps that I picked up from a D-Stash account because I just wanted to give it a try and see if it fit well. Now, the pattern did fit pretty well for a first try, so I was quite pleased with that. But there are a few little tweaks that I'd like to make to that one before I make it again. So that one was a win, sort of. I didn't make the garment that I had originally planned on my Make 9, but I did give bra making a try, so I'm going to call it a win. So number 4 on my Make 9 was the Ariana dress by Stylark. Now, in the end, I made 2 of this dress this year. The first one was slightly too big in terms of the fit, and the second one, though, was perfect. Now, I did end up sizing down from my measurements quite substantially actually on this Stylark pattern, which made me a bit nervous about trying another Stylark pattern, but they do have such gorgeous patterns, so I'm sure I'll try another one at some point. But that was another win, and I absolutely love wearing both of these dresses. Now, the 5th pattern was the one that I think a lot of people were really excited about, and that was the Blanca Flight Suit by Closet Core Patterns. Now, for some reason, I just couldn't bring myself to actually make this one this year. I did a lot of toiling and got the pattern exactly where I wanted it, but then I didn't actually make it. I think the weather changed and then it felt too hot to make it, and then the weather changed again and it felt too cold to make it. I think I'm just really nervous about sewing this one up and whether it will really fit my shape and suit my style. I do still really love the pattern, so I'm quite keen to try giving it a go this year, so do stay tuned for that one because I'm pretty keen to get this one made up. I've done all the hard work, so it seems a shame not to just go ahead and make this one and give it a try. So number 6 were the Winslow Culottes by Helen's Closet. I really enjoyed making this pattern. I made it in a viscose linen and it was great to wear in the summer. Now, I don't have that many tops in my wardrobe that went very well with these trousers, so oddly, even though they're black, they didn't get a huge amount of wear. So what I really want to do this year is make a few plain tops that I can pair with these culottes so that they get more wear this summer. Number 7 was the Hackney Cardigan by We Are Knitters. Now, I still have that kit. Have I made much progress on it since the last video? Not really. I couldn't get myself knitting. We had such a lovely hot summer and I just couldn't get motivated to knit during the hot weather. And now that the cold weather has hit, we've just been so busy as a family that I haven't really had time in the evenings to sit down and knit. I've just preferred to come up here and get some sewing done. Now we're going away for half term, so I plan to take the knitting with me and I think I should get a good chunk of that knitted up. But again, that's one that's going to bump forward into 2023. And that's okay. Now, number 8 was the Rose Café Bustier dress. Again, this is one that I would absolutely love to make. It's still very much there on my list of things that I would love to make one day. However, I just didn't have the occasion really to wear it this year. I did wonder about making it for a Christmas Day dress, but in the end I ran out of time to really toile it and get the fit just as I like it. So I think this one I'm not going to try and make it in 2023 unless we have an event come up for which I need a fancy dress, and then who knows. But for right now, I'm okay that this one didn't get made in 2022, although it's still a pattern that I absolutely adore. So the last pattern on my Make 9, number 9, was the Steele Pinafore by Elbe Textiles. Now I did make this again in a beautiful navy blue linen from So Sunshine, I think, and it has been such a well-worn piece in my wardrobe. I loved it in the summer over a little t-shirt. I've worn it in the winter with tights and boots. It really has seen a lot of wear in my wardrobe, which is fantastic. I haven't revisited this pattern yet, but I did love making this one, and for all the amendments and things I made to the pattern, please do go and check out my previous Make 9 update. So out of those 9 patterns that I chose at the beginning of 2022, I did make 6 of the 9 if you count my swapping the bra pattern for another one, which I think is quite good going, really. Like I said, I've twirled the Blanca flight suit. It's ready to go. The fabric, the pattern, everything is in a pouch ready for me to start sewing. So I guess I can say 6.5 out of 9, although that might be going a bit far. In spite of not quite finishing my Make 9 last year, I'm really pleased with how this challenge helped to motivate me to sew and to just give me a little bit of direction in what I chose to sew over the year. So I'm definitely planning on doing a Make 9 this year as well. And this year I'm going to do it slightly differently. I have a few patterns and fabrics in my stash already that I'm really keen to just get sewn up and get out of the stash and on my body. So some of these are fabrics that I have bought recently, and so I've got full lengths of these fabrics. Others are scraps that are big enough to make something else that I have got in my stash, and some are fabrics that I've had since I started sewing and I haven't done anything with them yet. So I guess it's more of a fabric Make 9 this year, and I've matched patterns that I already have apart from one, because I'm really keen this year to just try and sew what I have instead of buying new things and choosing all of the bright and shiny patterns. However, if I get distracted by the bright and shiny new patterns during the year, that's okay too. So then, before I launch into my Make 9 for 2023, I thought I would briefly mention what I'm wearing today. Now, this is a new make for 2023. It is the long sleeve version of the Elysian bodysuit. So it comes as like a 3/4 length sleeve. You can just put a small cuff here to make it 3/4 length sleeve, or it comes with this deep cuff to make it a full length sleeve bodysuit, which is the version I chose to make. I've started as I mean to go on this year, and I used a bamboo jersey that I had in my stash from a very long time ago. I believe it was originally from So Sunshine, so I will pop that in the description box below if they still have some. But it is a lovely bodysuit. Size-wise for the pattern, I came out as a small across the bust, medium at the waist, and large across the hips. But I've seen pictures of this and I know it's quite tight fitting, and in fact the finished garment measurements have quite a lot of negative ease built in, and I didn't want it to be too clingy. I plan on wearing this in the winter as more of a sort of a layer underneath jumpers and tops and things. It works really well. I've got it on today with a corduroy skirt and it works really well on its own. But when I went out this morning, I did layer up, and I'll show you what I popped on. So yes, but when I went out this morning, I did pop on this lovely warm cardigan over the top, just as an extra layer to keep warm, because it is freezing outside. It's literally freezing. So I did pop that on this morning just to keep warm on the school run. But it is a lovely bodysuit. I absolutely love the shape of this neckline, and it dips at the back as well. I'll pop in a picture. I did raise the neckline by 1 inch. I think it would have been a little scandalous for me if I hadn't raised it by that inch, and I'm really happy where it sits now. And then I ended up grading, so I made a medium across the bust, then I graded to a large at the waist and an extra large across the hips. Now that is plenty of room. In fact, it's probably verging slightly on the large side. I might just take in the seams at the hips a little bit next time I make it, but I'm quite pleased with that. It's a very comfortable, relaxed fit, and I'm really enjoying wearing it. To be honest, I love bodysuits, especially in the winter. Just that extra coverage down your back, and nothing rides up and gets sort of stuck under jumpers and things. It's just delightful. I'm definitely a fan of the bodysuit, and I will be making more of this pattern. It's a bit tricky to see because of me sitting down, but the top has got a seam, a curved seam that comes down here, and the top part of the front bodice is lined. So it's just a lovely pattern to make and to wear. Now I have got a few jersey scraps in my stash, and I'm quite keen to get those made up into Elysian bodysuits. I'd quite like to try a short sleeve version for the summer as well. I think that would be a really practical piece to add to my wardrobe. So then, I'm going to launch into my Make 9 2023, and the first fabric you will have seen recently, and that is this gorgeous red gingham. bought this on my trip to New Zealand, and it is going to become the Deer and Doe Myosotis dress. Now, I fell in love with a ready-to-wear dress while I was out in New Zealand, and I thought it would work really well to recreate it using the Myosotis dress pattern. It's one that I've had in my stash for a long time. I have yet to make it, so this is the year. So number 1 is the Myosotis dress in this red gingham. Now number 2 is another pattern I've had in my stash for a long time, and that is the Mile End sweatshirt by Closet Core. I love the look of this pattern, and I think it will work really well as a colour blocked sweater. I saw Cathcraft, who is made by Cathcraft over on YouTube, share a colour blocked version of this Mile End sweater, and I was so inspired by that one. So I plan to create a version a bit like hers, using 2 scraps from this beautiful Mind the Maker sweatshirting that I have in my stash. I love these 2 colours, and actually I think they work really well together, and I have matching ribbing for both coloured sweatshirt fabrics. I'm going to lay them out on the table once I've cut out the pattern and work out how I'm going to colour block these 2 together to make a colour blocked sweater. Use up these remnants because it's just beautifully soft, warm jersey. I can't stand to see it just sit in my stash. It needs to be on my body. So that's the plan for these 2, is the Mile End sweater by Closet Core Patterns. Now this next fabric, so plan number 3, is one I have had in my stash forever. It is the most gorgeous pink and red seersucker, and it was a Pigeon Wishes fabric, and I've only got about 1.5 meters of this one because I just bought what I could find. It was so popular, it sold out almost everywhere, but I think I've been really scared to sew it up, and I haven't known what pattern to use with this beautiful seersucker fabric. But I do think, having sewn the new Craft House everyday dress a couple of times, I think it would work really well as the everyday blouse with this beautiful peplum. So I think that's what it's going to become, the short-sleeved blouse ready for the summer in this beautiful pink and red seersucker. I think that's going to look gorgeous. So there we go, that is plan number 3. There's a lot of pink, red and blue, you'll notice, in this year's Make 9. It's a totally coincidental, but it is nice that these pieces will work quite cohesively going into my handmade wardrobe. Now pattern number 4 on my Make 9 is going to be made in this beautiful herringbone wool that I bought from the Knitting and Stitching show earlier this year. Now it was from the Lady McElroy stand, and they were selling it at an incredible discount, so I did manage to pick up what they had left, which I believe is about 2.7 meters, so it's not a huge amount of wool to make a coat, so I've had to think quite carefully about what pattern I might like to use. I love the Nova coat by Papercut Patterns, but I think I want to make something a bit more classic with this, something that I can button up across the front and that I'll hopefully wear for years and years to come. Not that I won't wear my Nova coat for years and years to come, I absolutely adore that, but I'd really like to make something very warm and potentially to try some new tailoring techniques with this fabric. It's just so beautiful. I want to make sure I make the most of it. So I'm really not 100% sure about the pattern I want to use for that fabric. I have got the B6385, which is a fairly traditional coat, and the good thing about this coat is that it works for the amount of fabric that I have. I've looked at some other lovely coat patterns that have been put out recently, but I don't have quite enough wool for them. So I think I'm looking at something a little bit like this. So if you've got any pattern recommendations, do pop them in the comments below. But for now, I'm looking at this one, although I'm going to have to toile it first because I don't want to have any issues with sizing. And I've had a few issues recently with the Big 4 and sizing, so I would definitely toile this one first. So this will be a slow make, I think, but it's one that I'm definitely keen to get started in 2023. Whether or not I finish it, I don't know. But I think that will be a beautiful coat to add to my wardrobe in this herringbone wool. It's so snuggly. I think I'm just going to put it on my lap as a rug for the rest of the video. It's freezing today. Right, plan number 5. I bought this blue wool mix suiting a little while ago. It's probably very hard to see. It's just a navy suiting fabric, but I really want to make the Closet Core Mitchell trousers. I love Closet Core patterns, they fit me really well, and I love the look of the Mitchell trousers. Now I was actually hoping to start on these this week, but I've had to order some of the things that you need to make them, the D-rings, the zip, a few other bits and pieces, so I'm waiting for those to arrive before I can get started on this pattern. I will probably toile it first just to make sure I've got the fit right, but I'm very much looking forward to trying this pair of trousers. One of the things I want to do in 2023 is to try some new techniques, and I've never made a welt pocket, and this pattern has welt pockets, so I'm very keen to try that. I love Closet Core instructions, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to create a lovely welt pocket. So that's plan number 5, the closet core Mitchell trousers in this blue wool suiting. Plan number 6, and I've seen a few other vloggers show this fabric as part of their Make 9, so I'm in good company here. This gorgeous fabric. I think it was a Pigeon Wishes seersucker, another Pigeon Wishes seersucker, I think. I believe I got this one from Sister Mintaka. Now I do have 2.5 meters of this because I knew I wanted to make it into a dress. And the dress that I want to use is the Lydia Naomi Bubble Frock. I think that's just such a beautiful pattern, and I think it's got quite a small bodice across the front and then a full skirt that drops from the bodice, so I think it would make best use of this pattern without interrupting it too much, and I just adore that so much. I cannot wait to make that into the Lydia Naomi Bubble Frock. So that's what I'm going to do with this plan number 6. Right, so the next fabric is a beautiful sweater knit. Now I got this one from Minerva and I wish I'd bought it in more colours because they don't actually stock this one anymore to my knowledge. It was called a Victoria sweater knit. If I can find it, like I said before, I'll link it in the description box. It is such a beautiful, soft sweater knit. It's so lovely to wear. And I made a Jennifer Lauren handmade juniper cardigan in this fabric and I wear it all the time. It goes with everything. It's a beautiful cropped length and I absolutely love the fabric. It's so comfortable and cozy to wear. It's just a cotton sweater knit, but it's just lovely. I love it. So I want to use this up. And a pattern that is new to me that I would like to try this year is the Elbe Textiles Wayland Tank. I think that looks like such a lovely tank pattern and I'd love to make it in this fabric. Now I was inspired by Alex Judge, who is Alex Judge Sews, and she made a Wayland tank with her Jennifer Lauren handmade juniper cardigan and it just looked like such a gorgeous pairing, and I know I get a lot of wear out of it with things that are already in my wardrobe. And again, I will use this for my Make 9, but I have a lot of other sweater knits and ribbed jersey fabric in my stash that I know that I could use to make that Wayland tank. I love the shape of it, and I've got a few ready to wear tops that have that neckline in my wardrobe that are completely wearing out and I would love to replace them, and I think this pattern would be perfect. I will lengthen it. I think it's quite a cropped tank, so I will be lengthening it a little bit to suit my style, but I'll be making it in this sweater knit for my Make 9. So you will have seen in a video a little while back, I made a bomber jacket with my friend Amelia, who is Amelia Allen Sews. She's here on YouTube, so do go and check her out if you haven't already. She's got a lovely channel with a couple of videos that she's just put up. She's just getting started, so if you don't follow her already, click on the link in my description box and do go over and have a look at her channel. She sews beautiful, beautiful garments, so do go and give her a follow. But we made a bomber jacket in this tulle fabric and I love the fabric. We did follow the fabric guidelines on the pattern, but got left with quite a lot of tulle at the end of it. So what I want to do with this is to make the new Craft House Everyday blouse again. Now I may not have quite enough tulle for that blouse pattern, but I may just need to add a plain black tulle for the sleeves or something, but I really want to get this used up. I think it's such a beautiful fabric and I don't want it to just sit in my stash unused. Now if I make this into the everyday blouse, yes, it will be see-through. So I think though if I pair it with jeans and a little strappy black camisole underneath, it will look really, really cute and it will get it on my body and out of my stash, which is what I want. Okay, so we're at number 9. Thank you so much for sticking with me if you have stuck around till the end. This is a beautiful ikat fabric that I bought from Itokri at the very beginning of my sewing journey. Now I bought 3 pieces of ikat fabric from them and I sewed up 2 of the 3 pieces, but this one has just been left in my stash. Now I think it's because it's white. It's not the most practical colour, although I do love it. And I will have to line it because it is quite sheer. So I think both of those things have just kind of made me shy away from this fabric a little bit. Now additionally, it's quite a narrow fabric and I only ordered 2 meters of it, so I don't have a huge amount to play with. So that has also meant that I haven't sewed it up. But this year is the year. It's coming out of my stash and it's going to be on my body. Are you sensing a theme here? I love the fabric. I absolutely love it. So I'm not going to destash it. I am going to sew it up this year. Now, what I originally thought about making with this was the Tilly and the Buttons Lotta dress, and I still think that would work quite well, but I just find elastic around my waist not the most comfortable. So again, I haven't ended up making that with this yet, and also fully lining that, I'm just not sure how it would go with the elastic channel and everything else. So I'm not sure that's what I will make. So what I might make with this is a jacket or a cover up for the summer, and I absolutely love the Nenufar jacket by Deer&Do. This is actually a pattern that Amelia sews introduced me to. She's made a beautiful version. So this pattern I think is absolutely beautiful. It's got sleeves that gather in here and the back gathers in as well, so it's quite a full floaty jacket that I think would be perfect for the summer months. And I think it would look really gorgeous in this white fabric over a pair of jeans and a little tank top in the summer for a day at the beach. So I'm pretty keen to get this made up, and I think I could quite easily line that jacket, or I possibly wouldn't even need to line it if it's just a cover-up. So that's my plan for this fabric, is the Deer&Do Nenufar jacket. Now this isn't going on my Make 9, but it's a bit of a bonus addition to my Make 9. One of the things I really want to do this year is to hand sew a garment. I'm really interested in hand sewing. I love embroidery, I love smocking my daughter's dresses, and I just think the next step really is to try and hand sew an entire dress. Before I left for New Zealand, I did hand sew an entire garment, and that was the Hey June handmade allspice apron. Now I made that for my sister-in-law as a gift, so I haven't shared that on my channel yet, but if you do want me to share the process of how I made that by hand, do let me know in the comments below and I'll happily put a video together and share the process of making that by hand. But I enjoyed that so much. It was so meditative and enjoyable, just stitching that slowly together by hand and then gifting that to her for Christmas. So I would like to do that again, but I would like to do it with a dress. And I'm going to start small. So I started with an apron, which was quite a small hand-sewn garment, and I'm going to move on to a dress for my daughter. Now I've bought this pattern here, which is called Hand Sewing 3. Now it is, again, it's a bigger size, it's size 5 to 6, but I figure that gives me a lot of time to get it made for my daughter, who is currently only 3. Now I love all 3 of these. I love the lace work. That's something that I love working with, is lace. And it's fine to make it on the machine, but I would love to do some lace hand sewing. So I think this version over here is the one that I'm leaning towards, with a little bit of lace across the bodice, these puffed sleeves which have lace detailing across the cuff, and then this beautiful lace insert with embroidery around the skirt. But all 3 are absolutely gorgeous. So that's another project for this year that I'd love to just get started on, even if I just start learning some techniques for hand sewing the lace and start working on that dress. It is size 5 to 6, so I have time, and if I don't get it finished this year, that's fine. It really is a passion project, something that I just love to do, that I find very meditative and enjoyable. So if it takes me a couple of years, that's fine. I have time until she's going to fit into it anyway. I haven't yet chosen the fabric or the laces or anything. That's something for me to just slowly chip away at. I'm going to order some samples. I'm going to just think very carefully about how I put that all together, and I'm really looking forward to starting working on that one this year. If you'd like to see the process of that coming together, again, do let me know and I'll try and film it as I go through the process. But like I said, it's not going to be a quick sew. This one is going to probably take me a good year, or maybe even 2. We'll just see. So that's my Make 9 for 2023. I hope you enjoyed seeing those ideas that I have for my sewing this year. It's a bit more of a sustainable Make 9, I suppose, because it is using a lot of patterns and fabrics that I already have in my stash that I just want to get sewn up, and I think the Make 9 is a great motivator. So I'm looking forward to keeping those fabrics and patterns at the forefront of my mind this year as I sew, and trying to get those beautiful fabrics out of my stash and into beautiful garments. If you've not yet subscribed to my channel, it would be great to have you as a regular viewer, so do hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you'll be made aware of when I publish future videos. It's completely free, so do hit that subscribe button. That would be so fantastic. And do leave a like if you've enjoyed this video. That also really helps YouTube to share my video with others who might also enjoy it. So that's me for this week. I look forward to coming back on next week, where I'm going to share a little sewing room tour. So do come back for that video, and in the meantime, I hope you have a lovely week filled with lots of happy sewing, and I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye!